Countries in the European single market and other neighboring countries share many standardized trade regulations that make it easier for U.S. businesses to tap into this region of 600 million consumers. An important first step to selling in the region is to determine if your product requires CE marking. CE marking is a certification mark affixed to a product. It indicates a manufacturer's declaration of a product's conformity with relevant EU directives and regulations. These laws cover health, safety, energy efficiency, and environmental protection requirements. To learn if your product requires CE marking, you must check whether individual EU product directives apply. Some common CE marking directives cover machinery safety, electromagnetic compatibility, low voltage equipment, medical devices, and restriction of hazardous substances, or RoHS. Some products may be within the scope of more than one directive. For example, 3 directives that may apply to a machinery product are the safety of machinery, electromagnetic compatibility, and low voltage equipment directives. Also, electrical and electronic products are subject to the RoHS CE marking directive. It restricts the use of specific hazardous substances, such as mercury, lead, chromium, and cadmium. There are 4 important steps in the process to meet CE marking requirements for a product. 1. Perform a conformity assessment on the product following the applicable CE marking directive or directives. 2. Create a technical file that includes a risk assessment report, a document with key product details, and the test results. 3. Affix a CE marking label. And 4. Draw up an EU declaration of conformity to accompany each shipment to Europe. Conformity assessment is a method of proving compliance with relevant CE marking directives. Manufacturers have several options to demonstrate assurance of conformity. Some directives, such as safety of machinery, electromagnetic compatibility, and low voltage, allow for self-certification. In these cases, conformity assessment calls for use of specific European standards or alternative specifications, and testing by an independent lab to verify compliance. Some products require certification from a designated lab connected to a European notified body. The US has labs that subcontract this work. These are products deemed as high risk to safety and include certain machinery, categories of medical devices, and pressure equipment. Next, manufacturers need to create a technical file to prove that the product meets CE marking requirements. It should include a risk assessment produced by the manufacturer, details on the design, manufacturer, and operation of the product, and product test reports and certificates. The technical file must be available for 10 years after the product has been put on the market. Once a manufacturer has met all the requirements and completed the technical file, the CE marking label must be affixed on the product near the manufacturer's nameplate. The label should be at least 5 millimeters in size. The label is not provided by a government agency, but can be downloaded at the European Commission website. Finally, the manufacturer needs to draw up a declaration of conformity. This is a statement from the manufacturer, which facilitates the product's importation and circulation throughout the EU single market. It is important to be thorough and accurate in meeting CE marking requirements. The EU has increased its enforcement of compliance with the directives. Make sure the technical file is complete. Also, in general, CE marking standards change every 5 to 10 years. It's the manufacturer's responsibility to monitor and implement any changes. Once a new standard is implemented, the old standard is no longer valid, and the product has become non-compliant. However, while there may be exceptions, products that were originally in compliance at the time of market entry can still be sold. While CE marking applies to many items, some products are subject to other regulations. For example, The General Product Safety Directive covers products like furniture, infant car seats, gymnastic and training equipment, and rollerblades. Chemicals and related products, such as paints, solvents, and adhesives, are covered by environmental regulations, including REACH, which is the European regulation concerning the registration, evaluation, authorization, and restriction of chemicals, and CLP, which is the classification, labeling, and packaging regulation. For information on EU directives and other regulations, visit the European Commission website at ec.europa.eu/growth. You can also find information on other foreign import requirements on trade.gov. By meeting the requirements in EU product regulations, you can access the lucrative European Union single market.